Meanwhile, they are the favourites to win the World Cup. They certainly didn't play like it in the first half. They did, however, after the break. France defeating Senegal by 3-1. Kylian Mbappe getting a nice brace. Barcola coming off the bench to get the third. Senegal getting a late goal. But in the end, this was impressive stuff from Didier Deschamps' side. Frank Leboeuf has stayed up late for us. Frank, thank you so much. We'll keep this short. Let's kick things off with after the first half. I was ready to shout at you and tell you how rubbish France were. Boy, they improved in the second half.
They did, Dan, but I was like you, very concerned about the first half, and I think I would put it in because of the first game of the World Cup, and we saw so many teams struggling. Spain first, but some others like Brazil against a fantastic Morocco team, and we saw lots of draws. And I say maybe they want to be a little bit conservative. And Senegal were absolutely good, and you have to give credits to them and created actions and chances to score. But France stepped up the second half. I think Didier Deschamps found the right words to say to everybody, and the forward line woke up and made the difference. And when you have Olise and Mbappe, waking up at the same time, yeah, it's kind of dangerous for the opponent.
And boy, did Kylian Mbappe wake up, Frank, now the top goal scorer in the history of the French national side. What a player.
Yeah, what a player. And I know that he received support from Olivier Giroud, the former top scorer in France. And he's so young. He's only 27, meaning that he can beat all records. The guy who scored the most goals in the World Cup, beginning closer, the German guy, but also, maybe winning another World Cup, scoring even more goals. Yeah, the talent is there. We saw that this season for the first 6 months of Real Madrid. We saw that so many times. Last World Cup, being able to score 4 goals with a penalty shootout in the final of a World Cup. Only few people are able to do that. And that guy is French, and that guy is exceptional.
So, Frank, France were favourites going into this tournament. I just imagine now the expectation around this side to go all the way once again must be so high in your country.
It is. We expect a lot, and it's crazy because we won in 2018. We got to the final in 2022. Since 98, we played 4 finals in 7 World Cup. Winning another World Cup, we put us at the top of the top, and we are a small country, only 69 million people, and comparing to teams like our country, like Germany, of course, but Brazil, Argentina, it's huge for us. And we have a very good education type of playing the football, and we create a lot. 100 players coming from France are playing that World Cup. It's exceptional, and we show great football, offensive one, very pleasant to watch, like Paris Saint-Germain with the club. And we are living the best of our time right now in the world of football. So that's great. Keep on doing that, young guys.
Good, great stuff, Frank. Thank you very much. Go to bed. Go to sleep. We'll speak to you later in the week.
I will. Bye-bye.
Look at this. Sometimes these stats are terrible, but this really does tell the story beautifully from a French point of view. They were so bad in the first half, not a shot on target. They were conceding shots. Really, Senegal should have gone in with at least a 2-goal lead. They didn't, and then France turned it around in the second half. This was a fascinating encounter because after the first half, you thought, God, they're a bit like Spain here. These teams are just starting these tournaments so slowly. And second half, they went, oh, we should really try, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
And that seemed to pay dividends.
And what you saw from France in the second half was scary good. Scary good in the sense that, look, we'll talk about Kylian Mbappe, of course. And his second goal, third for France, gorgeous. Just a great goal. World-class goal from a world-class player. But if you look at that team, the way it's put together, there's an argument to be made that he's not even their best player. Because on paper right now, Ousmane Dembele is a current Ballon d'Or winner, as the best player in the world. And then right next on the other side is Michael Olise, who, by a lot of people's estimation, is the front runner to win the Ballon d'Or this upcoming season. And so you're thinking, oh, wait, and then they have Mbappe. But when they take somebody off, in comes Barcola, and he scores a great goal. And when you think that maybe you've had enough, when Desiree Dou is running circles around people and creating chances, and it's just too much. When they get going and they get flowing into open spaces, they have players everywhere. And as it pertains to Michael Olise, let me just highlight him. He's flowing with the ball. He's floating on the field. He's finding passes. And for the life of me, it feels like everybody seems to be stressed about playing, whereas for him, this is just warm-up mode. That he's just let me find this pass. I'm going to glide past you. You're not even there. I don't even see you. He is not bothered nor concerned at all about anything or that Senegal was trying to do defensively against him. They did not impact his game and his decision-making. That is a telltale sign of a player who's playing with a high level of confidence and who has the talent to execute in the manner in which he does. He was outstanding in the second half.
Yeah, I think the fact that he got player of the game and he didn't score in the game shows how much of an impact he had. What's that face for?
I don't know how you can't give player of the game to Mbappe, to be honest.
Well, I thought Olise was better. Anyway,
I think.
So if you score, you just have to get it, yeah, automatically.
No, not necessarily. But you scored 2 goals, as Ali said. The second goal was great. I think there's a thing about Mbappe that there always seems to be a caveat when you speak about him. I think if we didn't know who Mbappe was and he put in that performance today, we would be waxing lyrical about him. But because there's this narrative around him that he doesn't track back, he doesn't defend.
Nobody's mentioned any of that. We're just talking about this game, and Olise was excellent in this game.
No, I know, and Olise, I love Olise. I think he's fantastic, but I think sometimes we take what Mbappe does for granted.
I would say yes, that is true, but I also think it's fair that Olise was player of the game for this game itself. I think the first goal from Mbappe, the ball is from Olise, and the ball is elite. It's as good as it comes, which is why Mbappe is able to take the finish first time. Mbappe's second goal, it's a great finish as such. But the game seemed to change in that second half when Olise got a bigger sort of like handle on it itself, and things started to happen. As Ale is saying, it's like floating around on the pitch. He was basically conducting the game in that second half, and he was feeding Mbappe. There was one ball that he played behind Koulibaly. I said it earlier in the day, Koulibaly will not know what's happened in this game, which he just played in, until he watches it back. The pass was that good. So I think his impact was very much massive. And to go back to something that Saliba said, he said, we spoke in the dressing room at halftime. If you notice, he didn't say the manager spoke to us. He said, we spoke at halftime. And I think that shows the state of this French squad, because there are enough players in there who have had success sort of individually, collectively, for their clubs, for their national side. And as a consequence, they can feel when things need to change. The manager can give them tactical ideas, but they're honest and upfront enough to be able to address things together.
Right.
There are some teams who almost hide behind their coach. What's the coach going to do? How's the coach going to help us? But I think for as much as, say, Deschamps helped, I think the players themselves helped each other. And that second half was, as for me, is as good as it comes.
We were waiting, or have been waiting for, again, a pre-tournament favorite to look exactly the part. And your point initially is well taken, Dan, that it did not look like that for France. And yes, they were closer to what Spain was yesterday, certainly to the point to where it was concerning. Halftime comes, and then the second half comes around, and it was a completely different energy, intensity about France, purpose in the attack, purpose in the midfield, Rabiot getting involved in the attack as well, being able to regain possession of the ball. I thought that the two center backs played really well, not just in defending Nicolas Jackson or defending whoever may have been a threat for Senegal, but in the case of Upamecano in particular, in stepping into the midfield to go and win possession back, so that then France, it was just wave after wave after wave of attack, and that's what allows guys like Olise and then Mbappe and whoever else that wants to get involved to make the difference that they made. You just saw what a total team can look like and why they can be so scary. Because when you start taking players off the field, usually for most teams in this competition, there is a drop-off in terms of the level of play and the potential or the ceiling on those players that are coming on.
Yeah,
There's no drop-off for France.
Yeah, absolutely.
No drop-off. You look at Bradley Barcola, and he would be a starter for most teams in this World Cup. And yet he's coming off the bench for France. And it's not the only player. There's a multitude of players that come off the bench for this team that tells you how important squad depth, elite squad depth. We throw it out there, and it's a comment that is just kind of thrown out. They could have two starting 11s playing in this World Cup. It's no exaggeration. Mm-hmm. That's how deep France is. And that showcased itself today as well.
Yeah, and I think Ryan Cherky is somebody that came on off the bench as well, somebody who, as Ali said, could be playing for other nations. And as I had a look at this French team today, let's say as a defender, there are different traits that sort of attackers will have. Some of them could be technically good. Some of them could be physically good. But a lot of these players for the French side, they are both. And it's not just both in one position, it's all across the board. Which means that when you look at, say, not just the front line for them, but say the midfield and the back line, if you look at matchups, there won't be many matchups they will have throughout this World Cup or in football in general where you won't favour them in the majority of those positions. At the back, you've got Upamecano and you've got Saliba. Whichever number 9 you want to play against them, those two will be incredibly competitive. You look into the midfield and you've got the experience of a Rabiot and Tchouaméni. At times, maybe it feels a little bit like they could have a third person in there. But when that need is there, I'm sure Deschamps will do that. Then you look at the forward line. Who's got the speed to match Mbappe? Who's got the speed to match Doué? Who's got the speed to match Elise and the skill to match Elise? Like, these players, they're incredible players. And when they click, we get a chance to see what we saw earlier, which in that second half at times was unplayable. And it's funny just because Senegal should have had the lead at halftime.
And it had no bearing on the result itself. But the explanation of the referee after going VAR in what potentially could have been a penalty kick for France in saying that Kylian Mbappe initiated the contact. What? He saw that video and that's his conclusion? You talk about being stubborn. Look, if you don't think it's a penalty, then so be it. But don't tell me that Kylian Mbappe, who's running past the defender, initiates the contact. Again, had no bearing in the game, and it's probably not a talking point. But I thought the reasoning from the referee was flawed in every sense and in every way possible. I never thought that would be the thing that he would come up with after seeing the screen.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what I will say as a positive is that decision stands out a lot in this World Cup because I think the refereeing overall has been very good. I think it's been very, very good.
We just said Messi should be sent off.
Except for that. So two things across. But that's Messi, though. You should never say Messi.
But to address the Mbappe point that you made earlier, Dan, I think the first half was so poor from Kylian Mbappe. So poor.
Wasn't it poor from everyone?
Yes, but he's not everybody. Mm-hmm. And the expectations for him are different than they are from Jules Koundé.
No, true. But we put Olise on that pedestal, and he was poor in the first half as well.
But not as. I'm just saying, not as poor. And Kylian Mbappe, in the first half was like, well, there must be some Real Madrid fans around here that are booing him. There had to be. But the second half was different from him and from everybody else. And there are moments in a World Cup that you'll remember, right? And we're very early on so far in this tournament. But when Senegal scored their goal, which, by the way, was a catastrophic moment by Mike Maignan, a big goalkeeping mistake, one that he should have, a save that he should have made. And you're thinking Senegal has 5 minutes or something to do. Maybe to stress France out. Maybe France thought that this was gone and this was done and whatever. We move on with our lives. But there was some stress. And then you see Kylian Mbappe in that the next touch he has with the ball, straight from the kickoff, is taking that touch forward and hitting the shot that he just hit. And you kind of go, yeah, thanks for coming, Senegal. It was exciting while it lasted, but you're not at this level. It was a very sort of dismissive kind of, I wouldn't say finish from Kylian Mbappe, but dismissive in the sense that you don't belong at this level. This is my World Cup. This is my level. Go sit down.
At the moment, Ali, you're sat there. Your imaginary box contains Spain as the World Cup winners. Would you like my imaginary box that says France?
Not yet, but I'm getting really close to snatching that imaginary box.
This is, by the way, this is the budget that we're working with.
There are no boxes. You have to picture it. In your mind's eyes, you have to picture it. It's hard to look away from France. I think that the 45 minutes and the potential of those 45 minutes it's scary to think that they can be better. Spain are going to have to be significantly better than what they were against Cape Verde in order to try to match that.
All our box budget was spent on flying Gab and Jules over here to the States, and you can listen to the latest edition of their podcast, which is available now.